Hello students, welcome back to a Unix programming class. Today we will execute and check the commands which we have seen in the previous class. Okay, in the previous class we saw that to execute a command called date. So how we execute the command called date? Let us say date, and the today's date and time also will be displayed, right? But if we use let us say slash where date command will be present, date command will be present in slash bin or slash usr bin, right? So can we execute the date command using its absolute directory like slash bin slash date? Under root we have a directory called bin. Under bin we have a file called date, which is an executable file. So let us see whether it executes or not. Yes, this will also execute and gives you the same output, right? So date command you can execute just by giving date, or you can give its absolute path name also. It is not necessary that you should give absolute path name of date command, because that path is already included in the list of directories which is there in the path environment variable. Okay, that's why you need not have to give it. Is that clear? Okay. Next we'll see how to manipulate the path environment variable. So how to check what is there in the path environment variable? We should use the command echo and say $path. Path should be in capital as it is an environment variable. So when we say echo $path, it will list all the directories separated by colons. You can see here is a colon, right? Here is a colon. So this colon separates directories, list of directories. It is separating, right? It is separating the list of directories. There are two directories in the path. So now if you would like to add any more directories into the path, so that directly you can execute the executable files without specifying the absolute path. In that case, you have to give the command like path to manipulate the path. To add your own directory into the list of path directories, you will say path equal to $path. So why we are using $path? Because we want the previous contents of the path to be present in the path. Okay, so all these what we have here. Okay, so all these things we want to retain, and at the end of this we want a colon and our directory to be added. Okay, so we want to retain this, hence we say $path. Okay, path equal to $path, and at the end we want a colon to be included, because we are including another directory, right? There should be a separator. So a colon we will give, and then we will say slash home slash AIT slash CSE. So now it has registered. So let us see whether it is registered or not. Check with again echo $path. Yes, it has registered, right? You can see here at the end there is a colon to make a separator. The previous contents of path are retained, and at the end of the previous contents a colon is placed, and then our directory slash home slash AIT slash CSE is also added. So likewise, any directory where you have your executable files and you want them to be executed without specifying their paths, so you can create your own commands also. Like this you can create your own commands also which are not there in Unix. If anybody is interested, please try the commands which are not there in Unix. You can create your own Unix command for simple operations, or combination of two operations can become a command, right? So such commands also you can create, and you can place that directory where you have stored your command into the list of path directories like this. Okay, this is how you manipulate the path. This is a question paper question, how to manipulate the path environment variable. So this you have to specify. First explain what is path, how to display the contents of the path, and how to manipulate, and after manipulating what happens and why it is necessary to manipulate. All these things you need to specify, explain. Okay, so that is how you execute, or that is how you manipulate the path. Okay, then let us see some commands which are related to relative path. Let us say, for example, let us say okay, so cd ait, see here I have given this command, the last command, cd ait under ait csc under csc 5th sem, under that Unix, and under that nodes. Okay, so this is what I have given cd, so it will directly change my directory to that directory. Okay, so when I say enter, it will take me to that directory. Okay, so check with this. Yes, you are in that directory now, right? At the end you can see here you are in this directory, AITCSC 5th Sem Unix nodes, isn't it? So you are in this directory now. Okay. So now how to come out of this directory? How to come out of this directory? You can come out of this directory step by step, like cd double dot one level up. So now where you will be? You will be out of nodes now. Check. Yes, you are out of nodes. Now you are in Unix. Similarly, when you say cd double dot slash double dot 2 levels up, you will go. Now we are in Unix. Then you will go 2 levels up, that is 5th sem CSC. You will get into CSC. Say enter and check where you are now. So now we are in CSC, right? You have come out 2 levels up. Okay, similar way. So now let us say, so what is after CSC? 5th sem, right? Let us say cd 5th sem. Now let us come out of 3 directories at once. Okay, cd double dot slash double dot slash double dot. Okay, so now 3 directory. Okay, first we will check where we are. Okay, we will check where we are. So now we are in AIT CSE 5th sem. So 3 levels up we have to come, means we have to come to home, right? So how will we do that? We will say cd double dot slash double dot slash double dot. So 3 levels up you will go. Now you check PWD where you are now. You are in home, right? So you are in home. So previously you were in AIT. Here you are in AIT CSE 5th sem under home. Now all those 3 directories you have come out of all those 3 directories at once, and you have reached the home directory. Okay, so that is how the relative paths will work. What is a relative path? Relative path is a path given with respect to your parent directory or a current directory. Okay, so now we are in home directory. So let us see what is there in your home directory. How to check what is there in your home directory? Let us say ls. So these are all the directories and files in your home directory. Do we have M1, M2, M3? No, right? We don't have M1, M2, M3. Where M1, M2, M3 are present? Under nodes directory, right? So let us copy the M1 file which is there in notes directory to your current directory, that is home directory. Okay, so how to do that? To copy, you will use the command cp. Cp stands for copy. Then you specify the path. So how, let us copy it from here, the path. Okay, fine. Here yeah, okay, IIT CSE 5th Sem Unix notes. Copy this path and paste it here. Okay, missed. Let us copy it once again. Okay, I have said CP AIT CSE 5th Sem Unix notes. Under that we have a file called m1, right? So this file we need to copy to our current directory. Now what path I have given here? AIT CSE 5th Sem Unix notes m1. This is a relative path because it is not starting with root, right? Because AIT is there in our current directory only, so I can directly reference to it without the reference of root. Okay, so it is a relative path name. Okay, then that m1 need to be copied to our current directory. How will I copy it to our current directory? How do I say current directory? With the dot, right? When I say dot, it represents the current directory. Okay, so the file m1 which is present under notes in this entire path need to be copied to our current directory. Our current directory we checked, we have already no m1 file. So now no error, so it has copied. Let us check with ls command whether it is copied. Yes, it has come, right? m1 is here. m1 you can see here, right? Below this Acharya you can see m1, right? So m1 is copied. See, previously in the previous list m1 was not there. Now m1 is present. So how you copy a file from a particular directory to your current directory will be using the command like this by specifying the path. Is that clear? So that is how you can copy a file which is there in some directory to your current directory. Okay, fine. Okay, then let us see. Let me use this cd command which we used for going into the notes. Yes, cd AIT CSE 5th Sem Unix notes. This is also a relative path, right? Because AIT is there in our current directly, so I can directly reference, not necessary to reference with respect to root. So it is a relative directory. Any directory, any path which is not starting with a slash, it is a relative path. Okay, so now we will change to that directory. Let us say we were in home, right? Now we change to AIT CSE 5th Sem Unix notes. Okay, now how to come back to home? We tried that cd double dot or cd double dot slash double dot, isn't it? So without doing all those things, in a single small command, how to reach back to your home directory? So that is by writing a command called cd and a symbol called tilde. This symbol I have told you in the previous class also, right? This symbol called tilde, tilde, tilde symbol. Tilde symbol represents the home directory. Okay, tilde symbol represents the home directory. Wherever you may be, if you say cd tilde, it will directly take to your home directory. Say enter. Now you check pwd. Now you have come back to your home, right? See, previously you were in this path Unix notes folder. After executing this command cd cd tilde, then directly you came back to home without step by step changing the directory. Directly in a single command you came back to home directory. Isn't it great? Yes. So likewise you can come back to your home directory in a single small command. So let us see another command. So now we are in home directory. Let us say cd ait. So now where we are? We are in our home directory. So let us say whether we have reached, AIT directory. Let us see whether we have reached the AIT directory. Yes, we have reached into the AIT directory. So now let us come out of this directory. cd double dot, there should be a space in between. cd continuously double dot you shouldn't give, because double dot is an argument to cd command. So there should be a separator in between the command and its argument. Okay, so there should be a space in between cd and double dot. Okay, cd is the command, double dot is the parent directory. So there are two different things, command and its argument. There should be a space in between. Okay, so now check where you are. Now you have come out of AIT directory. So you can go to AIT directory by writing command like this also, /AIT. Can we do like this? Why? Because dot is the current directory. Under current directory AIT is there. So you can write like this. Directly you can say, as we said previous case, in this previous case, directly you can say cdait, or you can say, it is not necessary. Okay, it is not necessary to give this. So dot here, directly you can say AIT, but you can write like this also by referring to your current directory. So now let us say enter. Now check where you are. So doing like this also you will reach into AIT directory. Okay, you will reach into AIT directory. Okay, let us come back to our home directory. Let us say cd double dot. Okay, now let us see. Let me say cat m1. What is cat command? Cat command is, it stands for concatenation. It will display the contents of the file. See, I keep repeating the explanations of command every time when I use it, so that you can get familiarized with it. Okay, so cat m1 means it will display the contents of m1. Will it execute? Okay, m1 we have copied, right? Okay, we have copied to current directory, so it is executing. But if you say cat m2, will it execute? It will say no such file or directory. But m2 is existing, right? But where it is existing? It is existing under notes directory. Isn't it? It is existing under notes directory, which is under AIT CSE 5th sem notes, isn't it? That path. Under the path AIT CSE 5th sem Unix notes, under that path m2 is existing, but we are under home now, so from home you cannot access m2. So how to display the contents of m2? So you can say cat, okay, let us copy that directory. Now we'll say cat space paste AIT CSE 5th sem Unix notes. Let us say under notes we have m2, right? So give a slash and m2. Because m2 is under notes, you have to give a slash to represent the next level. Okay. So now content of m2 will be displayed. Say being in home directory, you can display the content of a file which is in some other directory using a path. Okay, and what kind of a path I have given here? This is a relative path, right? Why? Because it is not starting with a root slash. It is not starting with a slash. It is directly started means EIT is present in our current directory. So a path can be directly started. Is that clear? So that is how we can display the contents of a file which is present in some other directory. Okay, let me tell you another concept. Let us say cd. Okay, let us create a directory. How to create a directory? Using a command called mkdir, make directory it stands for. Let us say mkdir programs. Okay, progs. We will create a directory called mkdir programs. So it has created. Let us check whether it is created or not with ls command. Yes, programs directory is created here, right? It is in blue color. So now that programs is created, let us change to that directory, programs directory, using cd. Now we got changed to our programs directory. See, we are under home programs. Okay. Now let me create another directory here using mkdir command. Let us say scripts. Okay. Check whether it is created. Yes, scripts is created under programs. Okay. So now you come out to the home directory. How to come out to the home directory? Directly you can say cd tilde symbol, you will come to home directory. Now where you are? You are under the home directory. Under home directory, do you have programs? Yes, we have programs. So now let me change to scripts directory. Okay, so let me change to scripts directory. When I say cd scripts, enter, it is saying no such file or directory, but just now we created script directory, right? Why it is saying no such file or directory? Because scripts directory is under programs directory, so directly it is not available. First you step into programs directory, then you need to step into the scripts directory. Directly you cannot go to scripts directory. So how you should give the command to get into the scripts directory? You can say cd programs / scripts. First you need to enter into programs directory and then to the scripts directory. Now let us say yes, it is executed. So let us see where you are now by using the pwd command. You are in home programs scripts. Okay, directly you cannot go to a subdirectory. First you need to enter into the main directory and then its subdirectory. And what kind of a path I have given here? This is also a relative path because programs is residing in my current directory, so I need not have to refer to root. I can refer directly to programs. So with respect to current directory, hence it is a relative path. Is that clear? Yes. Let us see about home variable. So what is this home variable? When you log into the system, Unix automatically places you in a directory called home directory. We have studied this, right? Whenever a user logs into the Unix system, automatically that user will be allocated a home directory. Will be placed in some home directory. The shell variable home. So home is another shell variable like path. Okay. So this shell variable called home indicates the home directory of the user. The path of the home directory of the user will be stored in this home environment variable. How to check the contents of home? You say $echo $home. You can check like this. Then it will display your path of the home, your path, your home's path. Okay. So what you see above is an absolute path name because it is given with respect to root, right? /home/kumar. Starting character is a slash, that is the root. So with respect to root, this path is written. So it is a absolute path name, which is sequence of directory name starting from the root, right? /. The subsequent slashes are separate directories. See, first slash here is the root, and the next slash here is to give a separation to the next level. Okay. Then just now I told you, right, the tilde symbol notation also used to specify the home of the current user. The tilde symbol you can use for representing the home of the current user. So let us check this echo $home. So let us say echo dollar. You should write home in capitals as it is an environment variable. So now it says here, it gives your home directory, right? It gives your home directory. So you can also say echo and the tilde symbol. So it will give you the path of your home like this. Okay. Tilde symbol also represents your home directory, right? So it will also give you the path of the home directory, and you should note that, see, as it is Termux, the home directory path will be little different, but it is starting from slash only, right? It is starting from slash only. That means it with respect to root, isn't it? It is an absolute path name. Then let us see the ls command and its related options. Most of the options we have already used. Let us see what more other options are available with the ls command. So ls is a command which is used for listing the directory contents. In the current directory, it will list all the present files and subdirectory names, right? ls stands for list. The command to list your directories and files is ls. It will list the files and directories which are present in your current directory. With options, it can provide information about type of the file. We discussed, right? Type of the file, regular file, directory file, FIFO file, device file, link file, etc. The type of the file, it will tell you when it is used with some option. The permissions for a file, read, write and execute permissions for the file. It will also give you the size or information of the file, and dates. What dates it will give you? File creation date, change date and access date. When the file is created, when it is last accessed and when it is last changed. Change means changing the permission of the file or changing the name of the file. Okay, so that is change time. Okay, it will give you those informations. So how to use the syntax of ls? So it is an important question with respect to examination. Explain ls commands with all its options. Okay, now the syntax you need to tell. Whenever you write about any command, first you write about that command, some introduction about that command, what that command will do. Then you tell the usage syntax of that command. Then you explain some examples. Okay, those things are very, very important. You give some examples and also write their outputs. Okay, so when you execute those commands, what output you will obtain, that also you should tell. Okay. Okay, the common options of ls commands are -a. So what -a will list? It will list all the hidden files. Okay, it will list all the files which it will list all files along with hidden files. Okay, so how you can identify that it is a hidden file? A file which is starting with a dot, whose name is starting with a dot. Okay, in the previous class we studied about dot profile file, right? So that dot profile is a hidden file. Okay, because it is starting with a dot. See why when you say ls hidden files are not displayed means, so every time it is not necessary to display the hidden files. Okay, main files are only displayed, and sometimes you may access and change the contents also by mistake, or you may delete, which shouldn't happen. That's why they are made as hidden files. Okay, in detail we will study about hidden files in the next discussions. Okay, so -a option of ls will display the hidden files. Hidden files will be starting with a dot. -d will display only the directories, not the files. -f will indicate, will execute and see the output of all these options. minus F indicates type of entry, a trial symbol. Okay, if after the file, if there is a star, it means it is an executable file. After the name of the file, if there is a slash, then it indicates that it is a directory. And after a file, if there is a @ symbol, indicates that it is a link file. Okay, star indicates that it is a executable file, slash indicates that it is a directory file, and @ symbol indicates that it is a link file. Okay, then minus R for getting the recursive list. Okay, recursive list means you have studied about recursion, right, in C. Recursion means the function which repeat itself continuously until some condition is satisfied, right. Here also ls will execute continuously until all the files are displayed, all the files, its subdirectories and the files under subdirectories will also be displayed. Okay, see now when we executed ls, the directories will be listed, right. Programs directory was there, AIT directory was there, but only directories will be listed. The files under those directories and the subdirectories under those directories will not be listed, right. So to do that, we use the minus R. It will give you the recursive list, means the files under the directories and the subdirectories under directories, and under subdirectories if you have any files and subdirectories, that will also be listed. Okay, we'll see the output of this. It will be fantastic. Okay, then minus U sorts file names by last access time. It will sort by last access time. It will be sometimes easy for accessing, right. If we want to access a file which is recently accessed, then you can use this option for sorting. Then minus A for hidden files, minus T for sorting file names by last modification time, minus I for displaying inode numbers. We have discussed about it. Inode numbers are the unique identification numbers given for a file. Then minus L for long listing. It will list the mode. Mode means the permission type of the file. Link information, that means how many links are there for a file, to 1 or 2 or 3, etc. Who is the owner of the file? Owner of the file means the user who have created the file is the owner of the file. Size in terms of bytes, how many bytes are there in that file, and last modification time. All these contents will be displayed when you use minus L. And creation time also will be displayed. If the file is a symbolic link, an arrow like this will be displayed. We have seen this, right. It will be displayed in front of that file. Okay, so let us execute them and check all the options of ls. Let us execute and check. Okay, let us execute ls command with minus L. We have executed it already, but to brief it again, ls minus L. When you say, okay, we are under, where we are under home directory only. Why it is giving you ls minus L? Just a moment. Okay, so let us say ls. It will display all the files and directories. You can see blue color ones are directories, white colors are files, and you can see one more light blue color here, which is a link file. Okay, which represents that it is a link file. Okay, so now let us say ls minus L. Now it is going to display all the files and directories long list. You can see here AIT and Acharya, both are blue color and they are directories, the first ones. And the beginning, you can see here, you can see the first character of this. The first character of this is a D, isn't it? The first character of the long list is D because it is a directory. Okay, see next one also for Acharya, also the first character is D because it is a directory, and after that M1, F1, F10, F2, F5, F6, for all of them there is a dash a hyphen in the first character indicate that they are all regular files. And you can see here for this file fnew, the first character is L, indicate that it is a link file. And also you can see it is linked to which file. An arrow is specified and it is saying that it is linked to a file called new. Fnew is linked to a file called new, isn't it? And again programs is a directory, hence the first character is D, right? And you can see after the first character there are 9 characters, a string of 9 characters which will give you RWX combination, read, write and execute permissions for group, user, group and others. Okay, 3 characters for user, 3 characters for group and 3 characters for others, right? Permissions, what permissions they are having it will display, right? And after this is the 3 you can see here, right? In the first line here, in the first line you can see 3. It indicates that there are 3 linked files for this. Okay, so after that you can see this one, which is the user of the file who have created the file. Next one, this one, this one is the group. By automatically by default, whenever a file or a directory is created, it will be allocated to a group. Okay, so that is the group ID. Then we have this 4096, which is the size of the file, and after that you can see September 10, which is the creation date, and this 635 is the time of creation, and finally we have the name of the file. So all these attributes of the file will be displayed and it will be following the order of display. You can see A, M, F. Okay, so that order of display will be followed. Okay, the next option of ls is -a, ls space -a. What is this -a option with ls used for? It is used for displaying all the hidden files. Let us check. So you can see all the hidden files here, right? Dot and double dot are there, and also you can see here dot vim info here, the dot bash history, and below that dot mysql history, below that dot termux auth info, isn't it? So they are all hidden files because they are starting with a dot. Okay, they are all hidden files. A hidden file will always be starting with a dot. So all other files and directories along with hidden files will be displayed when you say ls-a. Okay, then the next option is -f. Let us execute ls command with -f option, and that f is the capital F. So we have seen when you execute ls command with -f, let me clear the screen so that we can view clearly all the output. Let us say ls-f. Enter. Now it is displaying all the files and directories. You can see here the first one EIT, after that there is a slash. Similarly for Acharya also, after that there is a slash. For programs also, after the name of the file there is a slash. Indicates that those are all directories. Okay, all the names of the files which has a suffix slash, those are all directories. And all the files which are having a star at the end, they will be executable files. But there is no file with a star here. That means no executable files are there. Then we can see here f new is having a at symbol at the end. That means it is a link file. Okay, so when a suffix at is there with a file, it means that it is a link file. Okay, the next option of ls is minus I. Let us say ls minus I, which will display the inode numbers of all the files, right? It is displaying inode numbers. The first number you can see inode numbers for all the files. Okay, inode numbers for all the files it will display. Even directories will have inode numbers. All the files, everything is a file in Unix, right? So all the files in Unix will have a inode number. But for example, if you would like to see the inode number of a particular file, let us say f1, you want to say inode number of f1 only, then it will display inode number of f1 only. Okay, then you can say f1 f2, then both f2 and f1 and f2 inode numbers will be displayed. Okay, like this you can see the inode numbers of the files with ls command and minus I option. Then we have minus r. Minus r with caps. Okay, minus r. Okay, let me clear the screen. So that you can view the output completely. Okay, ls with minus r option. What is this minus r? It is giving you the recursive list of all the files and directories. Suppose a directory is there, under that subdirectory is there, under that subdirectory is there, some files are there, everything it is going to display. See, like this. It is displaying all the directory contents. Okay, first it will display all the directories and files. See, from here it is displaying dot and double dot till here all the files and directories it has displayed. After that, from here it started displaying the contents of the directory. See, under AIT CSE is there, under AIT CSE 5th sem is there, under AIT CSE 5th sem Unix is there, under AIT CSE 5th sem Unix nodes is there, under nodes M1, M2, M3 are there. And under Acharya directory, here you can see under Acharya directory nothing is there. It is only a directory, it is an empty directory, nothing is there. Okay, then under /programs, okay, under programs directory there is a subdirectory called scripts, and under program scripts directory nothing is there, right? It is not displaying anything, right? Here under program scripts it is empty, nothing it is displaying, so it is an empty directory. Likewise, a recursive list of all the files and directories under your current directory you can get by using ls command with minus r option. Okay, I hope that the executions are clear to you and you have practiced along with me. Next, let us see file ownership. That means whenever you create a file, you become the owner of the file, and every owner is attached to a group owner. And for every group there will be a owner, so every file is attached, every owner is attached to a group owner. Several users may belong to a single group. Okay, several users may belong to a single group, but the privileges of the group are set by the owner of the file and not by the group members. Okay, the privileges of the group, that means the permissions, read, write and execute permissions are set by the owner of the file for that file, but not the group members. Okay, and there are two IDs, user ID and group ID, UID and GID. Please remember this, we'll be using them more in our next module discussions. UID is both its name and numeric representation of the user. Okay, UID is combination of name of the user and the numeric representation of the user. GID means again it is name and numeric representation of the group. Okay, so then A mode field with -L will give you, so just now we studied, right? It consists of 10 characters. First character will tell you the type of the file, like directory, dash is regular, B for block, C for character device, then L for link, and S for socket files. And the next 9 characters will tell you the permission, file access permissions. The first 3 characters for the user, next 3 characters for the group, and the last 3 characters are for others. Okay, it will be like this. R read permission, W represents write permission, and X represents the execution permission. And if there is a hyphen, that means no permission is given. Okay, no read, no write, no execution permission is given. Okay, so here you can see in this portion it is type, dash is regular, indicating a regular file, D is indicating a directory file, and L is indicating a link file. Okay, then the next 3 characters represents the permission for the user. User is nothing but the owner of the file, who created the file. Okay, and next 3 permissions will represent the permissions for the group of the file, and the next last 3 permissions will tell you the permissions for others, any other person, external person who want to access the file. For example, all the employees in account section can have access to some set of files, but those files cannot be accessed by the sales department employees, isn't it? So that is how the group of employees you can set for accessing a particular file. You can give permission. Okay, but that file may be created by the CEO of the company. Okay, so CEO becomes the owner of the file, user of the file, and then the CEO will give access to account section employees only to that file. The account section people only can access that file. Okay, then others like sales department, then production department, other department employees cannot access that file. Okay, like that. That is the meaning of user, group, and others. Is that clear? Okay, in the next class we will see how to change the permissions of the file in detail. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Bye.